The big headline that's been going around is that Xbox has accused Sony of paying developers Game Pass block fees. This comes way of video game news, and several other outlets have reported on it. But there's a lot of stories going around about how Sony is handling the whole Activision merger and their reaction to it. Well, Microsoft has finally responded. Let's read some of those responses right now. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you like my content, of course, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Why wouldn't you? I greatly appreciate it when you are subscribed to the channel. And there are still a few of you that need to. But let's dive right into this story. So basically, this comes way of video game news. And Xbox has accused Sony of paying developers Game Pass block fees. Now, this also gives a little bit of credence to a story that came up from Alfred Lemenc. It's a French name. Alfred Lemenc. Lemiche. Anyway, we'll talk about that in just a few seconds, but let's read some of the quotes from this story. Basically, it says, considering that exclusivity strategies have been at the core of Sony's strategy to strengthen its presence in the video games industry, and that Sony is a leader in the distribution of digital games, Sony's concern with possible exclusivity of Activision content is incoherent, to say the least. So right away off the bat, you can tell that Microsoft is sort of done playing with this case. And they're going to also go on to talk about how no other publisher had these type of remarks except for Sony, and then their response to it. I have to wonder if Sony is actually going to respond to this, because I haven't seen an Xbox this aggressive before. I think part of that is because we're actually seeing the behind closed doors conversation, and Xbox is kind of like, we're done. Here's how it really is. And here's how it has been for years. We want to buy this company. So anyway, it only reveals once again a fear about an innovative business model that offers high quality content at low cost to gamers, threatening a leadership that has been forged from a device centric and exclusivity focused strategy over the years. And if you think about it, Sony is all about making exclusive games for their players, and that has been going on for years. Like, one of the big games everybody keeps talking about is Final Fantasy Remake. Probably never going to come to Xbox, but Square's never clarified the exclusivity window. Now, if you actually go back, I think we get a little bit of insight into a quote from a while ago. And I had to Wayback Machine it because he had pulled down the original quote. But basically, the quote was, Resident Evil Village was forced exclusivity. And this is in French. I had the quote translated from somewhere. Resident Evil Village should not arrive on the Xbox Game Pass for at least 1 year. This is what the confidential agreement between Capcom and Sony would stipulate. Sony now seems to incorporate anti-Game Pass clauses in its deals with studios. That was from Alfred Lemiche. I used Google Translate to translate it. And if you look at the fine print on that email, I'll bring it up here in just a second, and you can actually see what he had posted. And this was taken down, but he has gone forward and reiterated his point here. I have to wonder if this was actually true, because it does seem that Microsoft has just sort of confirmed that these types of deals are happening. During the term, publishers shall not authorize, assist, or encourage any third party to include the game in any competitive platform subscription service that is competitive with any PlayStation subscription service, including but not limited to Google Stadia Pro subscriptions, Microsoft's Xbox Live Gold, Project xCloud, or Game Pass subscription service, or similar competitive platform subscription service. Now, it makes sense that they would make this contract, but now the reason I'm bringing it back to the forefront is because Microsoft is now calling them out for having these types of practices, but then somehow trying to utilize that to block the Activision deal, which would remain cross-platform. Let's continue with the Microsoft quotes here and hear what they have to say. Indeed, Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been obstructed by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth. Sony pays for blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services. And then we go back to that quote I just showed you. During the term, publisher shall not authorize. And basically, they're saying if you want to do this deal, you have to stay exclusive with us for one year. So it does seem that these original tweets from Alfred have a lot of credence to them, especially when we have these new documents where Microsoft is straight up calling them out for exactly what they have been doing. And here's an oldie but a goodie that I like to bring up. It took a game like Fortnite being a mega hit to get Sony to allow crossplay to happen. And if you look at their old, this is again from court documents that they immediately tried to steal, highly confidential, attorney eyes only, as you can see. They tried to have these sealed, and the judge basically said, nah, it's out there now. They would charge a cut of revenue to developers if they turned on crossplay on their games. And there are emails between Sony and Epic that we've gone over before on the channel. I could potentially link to that. And what their responses are about crossplay and how they want to make it happen. And Sony's, of course, response from Gio Corsi about the crossplay issue. I didn't really plan to talk about that too much. But then in addition to this, there's all sorts of quotes coming out today. And I did want to talk about one other story real quick. Did it erase my highlights? Well, that's a bummer. Anyway, the idea that Sony is out blocking rights to keep games off Game Pass is what Microsoft is calling out here. And let's read that original quote again. Considering that exclusivity strategies have been at the core of Sony's strategy to strengthen its presence in the game industry, and that Sony is a leader in the distribution of digital games, Sony's concern with possible exclusivity of Activision content is incoherent, to say the least. So basically what they're saying is, you have been doing this for years. We're going to buy this company and make this content exclusive. Where's Final Fantasy Remake? Where's Spider-Man on Xbox? Where are all these other properties? I understand, of course, that it's business and they're making an exclusivity, but Microsoft's argument is that you guys have been doing this for so long, and now you're nervous because we're playing the same game that you have been playing. So it also doesn't make any sense because they're leaving the game cross-platform, right? That's the part that I think they're addressing here, because they're basically like, we're not taking the games off of your platform, first of all. Second of all, you've been doing this for years. You won't even let us release games on Game Pass. So that's what has been going on. And that's a claim from Microsoft. That's from Microsoft attorneys, though. And that is a letter from Microsoft attorneys to the government of Brazil. I would be amazed if this was some blatant lie from Microsoft to a government. Like, that's just not going to happen. This is something that's happening. It gives credence to a story that was going around not that long ago from Alfred over on Twitter. And I want to know how you feel about it. Do you feel like it's just business? Honestly, I'm kind of in that camp. I'm like, okay, yeah, Sony has the right to do this, but don't expect to not be called out on your business strategies when Microsoft or Xbox do the exact same thing that you've been doing for years. And all of a sudden it's a big issue when your competitor does it, right? And I think in the grand scheme of things, when all this dust settles, Microsoft and Sony are going to be neck and neck, which they already are pretty close. You know, still a couple $1 billion separating them, but it is closer than I think Sony would like. Anyway, that's sort of my take on the situation. What a story. And there's a whole bunch more. I'm going to do a separate video for the other ones just because it erased all my highlighting. But yeah, let me know what you think about this one. I would love to hear your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you like me talking about these stories. I like talking with you about them and where they're coming from. But yeah, Sony, you played this game for so long, and now Microsoft is going to start playing this game, and all of a sudden that's not fair, right? Well, you've kind of been doing it for a very long time in many different ways, and now it's Microsoft's turn. Except they're even playing a little bit nicer than you might expect. They are going to keep their games cross-platform. So the deal's not getting blocked. In my mind, I still think this deal totally goes through. What Sony really needs to do is talk about how the Game Pass angle, Game Pass games being offered at a lower price point, it's just going to destroy their $70 price strategy. And I think that's what they're truly concerned about. Oh, well, what do we do? Like, they could throw Call of Duty on PlayStation Plus, I guess, as an answer to all the Call of Duty games being on Xbox Game Pass for $15 a month. Won't that, in the end, improve their subscription service? Who knows? Anyway, that is it for this story. Thank you so much to the members. Members, I really appreciate all of you. If you want to become a member, you can click that join button right down there at the bottom of the screen. It says join. You can sort of see it there. There's a big arrow to help you see it a little better. Thank you to all the members. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you for the next one. I got to reorganize these buttons. I'm always looking down because I can't find them. Bye for now, everybody.